Activation code required. Access granted. Warning. Evacuation sequence activated.
We're back. Welcome to the bunker.
And good evening to the S4 Bunker, here coming to you live from the mountains of the Cascade Mountains in Concrete, Washington. So how are we doing tonight?
Tired but good.
Yes.
You're in.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Marvelous.
Okay, so tonight we're talking ghosts, hauntings, and emergency response cases. So the first thing I want to start with is Joe shared a video with us last week. Joe, I got to ask your permission. Can I put it in the Discord?
Absolutely.
Okay, now I just got to remember how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's
Wow.
a file. Download to your computer.
We're good at this.
No, I do it all from my phone. Friend,
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Like my
I got
day.
something really weird going on here. There we go. Okay, ask that again.
Can I share it to the Discord?
Oh, yeah, sure. Throw it up. I had some kind of weird feedback. I accidentally turned on Spreaker and I was getting a feedback, so I had to kill that.
Huh.
All right, guys. So this video is coming up right now. Friend, now I was able to watch this, and I actually put it up on through Analyzer for video that I use for my kids' sports.
Oh, cool.
Friend, Joe, this is nothing, unfortunately.
With the
Well, it
analyzer.
depends on how you look at it. If you want a ghost, it's unfortunately nothing. If you don't, well, then yay for you. So, that black mass, do you see the light in the top? In the hallway?
Yes.
Okay, so what that was your camera was adjusting to that light source. So when the black mass showed up, the light from the window and the darkness behind the door, they changed color as well. The entire video changes color at the same time.
Here's the deal on that. The reason I put that video up was not to catch ghosts or anything weird.
Yeah.
I had left the house for 2 weeks. Was down in Southern California, and basically it was as if somebody broke into the house. They have to go down that hallway. All the rooms are off to one side or the other. If somebody broke in, I'd see them.
Okay.
Now, the video ran for 2 weeks, and that was the only time this happened. And it happened for about 20 minutes, and then the light came back on. It's not anything adjusting. No one had been in the house for 7 days at that point. So if you want to say it was lighting outside, well, that's fine, but it would have been happening for 2 weeks, and it wasn't. It just happened for that 20-minute period. Something covers the light, because you can see the light at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
There's one exactly like that right above the camera, right above that doorway. And that's what gets covered, and it's about 15, 20 minutes, and then it uncovers. It's not a brownout. There's nothing wrong with the light, nothing wrong with the electrical. You could see that it's daylight outside.
Yeah.
So there wasn't clouds or anything coming in or over. Something weird happened there at that one point in time in the entire 2 weeks that it was running. So if you want to say, it's nothing, it's just the lighting thing. Well, that's...
No, not a lighting thing. It's the camera itself.
Is what the
What
analyzer
calibration?
said.
That-
It's
that's
been
what
going
you-
for
like-
7
Yeah.
days. All of a sudden it does that once.
Well, yeah, every camera has to recalibrate every once in a while. And depending on how good of a camera you got, the ones that they use in the airports, they actually only have to recalibrate once a month. A phone camera has to recalibrate actually every 30 seconds. So if you take too long, like longer than a 30-second video, that's why they suggest you use ring lights, because they do readjust every 30 seconds for lighting.
This shot 24 hours a day for 2 weeks. And that readjustment that you're talking about only happened one time?
Oh,
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I was just saying that's what the analyzer said, but you know how that goes. Technology is tech.
I just...
You know.
Well, I'll just
So
say
I don't think it was any type of technical thing readjusting to lighting conditions or anything like that. Because lighting conditions were constant for 2 weeks. And this was about 7 days in where this happened. I got an alert that there was something, the lighting had changed, something was wrong. Because it alerts on any type of light change or movement. And I had the alert, and that's when I looked at it and said, what the hell is that? I appreciate your analyzer program, but I don't think that's what it was.
Well, I'll just say the video was what it was, but where I thought something was up was the audio. There was a static pop when it gets dark. And,
Yeah, that's the weird thing. There is no audio on that camera.
Yeah, it something made some interference in the video feed itself to cause a sound changes, some popping and some static sound. So,
Well, wouldn't that go along with supposedly ghosts and spirits draining batteries and screwing with people's electronics?
I would think so, based
There
on
you
what
go.
I've heard. So, yeah. The EMF would be the electromagnetic frequency. If they trip that on a meter for people ghost hunting, I'm going to assume it's going to do the same thing for video and audio equipment. So I could be wrong.
I have to admit, it's the first time I've seen it because I didn't do my homework and I didn't watch
Neither
it.
did I. I'm looking at it.
Like I said, it's like about 7 days in. No one has been in the house. It's had plenty of time to adjust, and it just happened. And it's something definitely covers the light.
I don't think you
You can
understand
almost
what I
see
mean
it
by
get a
adjustment.
little. If it was adjusting light levels, wouldn't it affect the light down at the other end of the hallway that you could see?
You're
No.
not understanding
It really-
what I mean.
it
No, you're
doesn't.
not understanding what I mean by adjustment. It's adjusting its own pixelization. It's not adjusting the light level. It's adjusting the pixelization of the picture so that it continues to give you a clear picture. In order to do that, it does change the brightness and
It would be the
dimness of certain pixels.
It'd be the entire picture, though. You can see even the pictures that are on the wall. They have shadows when the light is on, and when the light covers up, there's no shadow there. There's no reflection from that light. Just that one single light in the picture, and there's one down at the other end of the hallway that stays bright and shining the whole time.
I can still see the pictures still have shadows on the when I blow up the image, Joe.
Yeah, I'm watching it in full
From the
screen
other
right now,
light.
so.
No, they don't move. And that's the thing, like, even the door is changing colors, the wall's changing colors, like, it's readjusting almost every pixel. But, like, friend,
So if
like, you could be right, but I don't think it's coming from down the hallway if that's what it is. I think it's coming from above the camera.
yeah,
Because that's the one that's going away.
It's not coming towards the camera. It's going away from the camera, if
Yeah.
anything. It's moving down the hall.
Something covers that light up.
What, the hallway light?
Yeah,
Okay, you
there's
see
two
the hallway
the
light
one
down,
above the
down at
camera.
the end?
Mm-hmm.
The one right above the camera is just like that. There's
Did you
two
open
identical
it up?
lights. Open
Yeah.
what up?
The light.
Did I open the light up?
Yeah, did you what type of lights are they? Are they LEDs?
No, they're just regular light bulbs. There's 2 light bulbs in a ceiling fixture. And they burned fine for another 2 weeks while I was gone. Actually, I was down there for 3 weeks. And it's the only time it happened.
I just for a safety thing, Joe, I would still open that one light bulb up. Like I'd open up the fixture and just look around the light bulb and look for any burning material, like burnt material or anything, just in case.
Well, I did that as soon as I got home. I did that. It was burning bright. I pulled the shade off. I pulled both lights out, checked them, looked around. There was no burnt wiring or anything.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I just don't want your house to burn down. You know.
Oh no, yeah, neither do I.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was almost 3 weeks. No one was there, and it was the only time it happened. And it just as far as I'm concerned, there wasn't anything electrical. I don't think it was the camera adjusting. I don't think it was lighting conditions from outside, because you can see it's daylight outside. That's why I left the lights on, so I could see at night if somebody broke in.
So
They would show up, and I'd have
let me ask
video
you
of
this.
it.
So aside
Sure.
from a video anomaly, when you got home, was there anything moved? Was there any weird smells? Was
No.
anything out of place?
No.
Okay.
Nothing that I noticed.
Okay.
And I'm gonna monkey wrench and everything. I agree with both Cole and Joe. I agree that there was a lighting situation regarding the camera. However, there is something paranormal going on there. I can feel it, but I can't feel what the hell it is. But that's all I feel. I don't feel anything really. I don't feel anything evil. I don't feel anything in a bad sense, because bad is different than evil in my book.
There's definitely weird things happen in the house over the years.
And so I don't.
And nothing that's ever happened has felt evil or malevolent or anything like that. It's
Yeah,
just, stuff happens.
But
I was, if you look all the way down there at the far end, that's the living room down there, and it goes off to the right. I was sitting there one night watching TV. Mom was sitting over there in her chair, and we heard this weird grinding noise. It sounded like ceramic on rock. It was like you took a ceramic thing, it was just grinding it on rock. I stopped the TV, I looked at her, we both looked over at the fireplace. There's a big rock mantel place up there. It's full of antiques, all this old neat stuff. And there's one oddball thing, and it's this weird ceramic frog. And it was grinding noise, and it flies off that mantelpiece lands 5 foot out on the floor. So it didn't just fall over. And we heard it grinding, poof, it flies off. I was like, well, that was interesting. But, if you looked at the way the stuff was on the wall and the stuff that's displayed in the house, it was kind of an oddball thing. This weird, stupid green ceramic frog.
I'm with Robert. You're under spirit inspection.
Who?
Robert,
White.
in the chat room.
If you don't have something going through your place every once and again, then you don't pass the spirit's inspection. Yeah.
Joe, can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is that wooden piece beside the 2 angels?
Let me see.
I was going to ask that too earlier. I meant to.
Oh, okay. That's it's just a little heart thing. It's a little ceramic.
No. The brown wooden piece beside the wall.
You mean right above the switch?
running up and down the wall.
Siding, isn't it?
Oh, that's the edge of the brown piece running all the way up and down the wall
Yeah,
on the far right.
yeah.
That's just a wooden. That's just a dark wood thing that goes around the closet. It's got a mirrored closet there. What you're seeing there, you see a little bit of blue on the side of that. That's reflecting the outside window.
Is there another window behind the camera?
No.
Like on that same wall facing towards the living room?
There's a window off the right of the camera. You can see it. It's reflected. There's a mirrored glass door for a closet door.
Yeah, and it's...
You can see it.
But the edge that's facing the switch,
Yeah.
it's brighter.
It's just wooden. It's stained
brighter,
wood, that's all.
but it's brighter too, which that side wouldn't be reflecting off the window. It's reflecting off that light the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird part is it gets dark. It doesn't get darker, it gets lighter. The light's concentrating there from the light above the camera.
Well, wouldn't it do that if there's a light source in front of you and a light source to the right of you, and the light source in front of you fades out? Wouldn't the light
I'm
source
talking
on the right
about
by the
to
camera would compensate?
The left side of that wood piece, which wouldn't be facing the window, which wouldn't get a reflection off the window, right? It wouldn't refract light from that window. But it's refracting light, which means the two light sources, that's where they're meeting on that piece of wood.
No,
Correct.
see well, you can see where the door is, real close to the camera, right in front of it.
Yes.
The light is up, and there's a mantelpiece above the top of the door, and it's maybe 3 foot out from that, just
Yeah.
like it is on the other end of the hallway.
So, but like you see where it's more black on that piece of wood trim
Yeah,
instead of brown?
yeah.
That blackness changes color during the video. It goes lighter. It shouldn't do
Well, wouldn't
that
it
if
do-
the light's being taken away. So what I'm thinking is you might be more correct, but it's something more solid than we think. And as he walks away from the camera, it's giving more reflection onto that side.
Joe, I got a
Well,
question.
Sure.
Who smoked not a cigar, but a pipe in that house at some point?
No one's ever smoked a pipe,
It was a
but
bong.
the house was originally built by some people, and I don't know if he smoked a pipe or not. It's possible.
Smelling tobacco.
It was actually a California state senator way back in the 50s. Was the one that built the house.
Was he a big guy?
We don't really know anything about him. It's
Got it.
possible.
I wish you could get a picture of him because I feel like I've got a big guy that smokes some kind of tobacco, and it reminds me of a pipe.
No one that I know has ever smoked in the house.
Okay.
Well, if there's somebody from the 50s,
Yeah,
just
They all
impossible,
smoked.
because everybody smoked back then. So yeah,
yeah.
if I learned anything from watching old movies, it's that everybody smoked. So
Those were fake. They were movies. Come on now, Rick.
no.
They didn't really.
Even Fred and Barney smoked. So yeah,
Was there ever any kind of residue on the walls from tobacco?
No.
You'd get
Okay.
yellow.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever smoked in the house, but like I said, I don't know about the people that built the house.
Right.
I do know after.
But
No, no one has.
honestly, unless
Even
it was
I don't. I smoke, but I don't smoke in the house.
unless
But
it
that
was
comes from. It's not
unless-
any kind of weird thing about being a Californian or any kind of rules or anything. It's just that when I lived in Washington, I smoked in my house, and when I moved out, everything I had was covered in brown fuzz.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yellow
oh,
and
God.
brown.
So, yeah, so I don't smoke inside.
Either
That's why
way,
I'm sitting outside smoking right now.
It's nothing malevolent.
No.
It's gone.
So he wasn't big. Not really.
Who?
William Fife Noland was the California senator from 1940, 1945 to
his
59.
his name was Merrick.
Merrick.
Merrick?
Mr. and Mrs. Merrick owned this house. They built it. They built it in the mid 70s, early 70s.
The guy that I'm feeling, now that sounds really bizarre, but the guy that I'm feeling that's around me, yeah, I know, it just sounds really fucked up. But, yeah, I know, Kayla, why'd you have to start that? My brain is going there now.
Hey, all I'm saying is that just because he's dead does not make it okay.
Anyway, so this guy's about 5'8" to 5'10". I want to say 5'9", but I'm giving myself 3 inches of room here. So 5'8". Oh, shush! 2 inches. 5'8", 9, 5'10", somewhere in that range. He's like, I want to say like big boned, but he's not fat. But he's a big guy.
He's
just
a chunker.
No, it's not like he's not obese. He's got some weight on him, but he's not obese.
Huh.
So I was trying to think of any relatives that might be visiting. Is like my dad didn't smoke. His dad was a big guy. Looked like Sidney Greenstreet, the guy from the Maltese Falcon, the head bad guy. That was my great grandfather there. Other side of the family, I don't remember any pipe smokers, unless you go back to my great great grandfather Wilhelm Wolfgang Rimbach.
Whoa.
He was German.
That's a lot.
That guy smoked.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Well, with a name like that, how could he not?
It's not really strong tobacco either. It's good tobacco. I know good from bad. So this is a smelling tobacco. So
It's California. Of course there's good tobacco.
yeah,
That doesn't mean shit.
It does.
yeah, it does in certain societies.
In political circles, it sure the hell would. Oh, that's just nasty.
So, and I keep getting like brown, wavy hair. I can't classify it as short, but it's definitely not long. Reminds me of my great uncles. I had 2 really tall great uncles, and both brothers, and they had this long but short, wavy hair. It was definitely a thing back in the 50s. You look at Elvis, it was kind of like his hair before they started screwing with it. Anyway,
Like
so
I
that's
said,
what this guy.
I'm not saying what the video is. I'm not saying what it isn't. I'm saying it's extremely odd. I don't think it's a camera glitch. We've had, you hear things in the house sometimes. Sometimes things move. You look for them. You can't find them. You go back. They're right where you were looked the first time. Just little things like that. You hear stuff moving in the other room. You just kind of go, oh, well.
So, any clicking?
Nothing any weird nothing dangerous has ever happened in the house. And I'm sure over the years, Eric's probably heard some of the stories around here, between Bigfoot that sound like owls walking around outside to all kinds of other weird stuff. But I think it's just a place of high strangeness, but nothing evil. I've never felt uncomfortable here.
Yeah, I agree. So the other question that now it's going out of my head. Oh, do you hear clicking? Anytime do you hear clicking? Like a fan in the ceiling clicking?
Yeah, you'd be sitting in the chair, and all of a sudden you click, 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 tap, tap in the next room, and it's like, okay, well, that's not the refrigerator. There's nothing else running in there. You know, we just kind of go, oh, well, that's the ghost.
If he's a smoker, then
You hear stuff in the other room. You're sitting there, you hear something fall over in the next room. Things like that.
If he's a smoker, that's him cleaning his pipe.
Huh?
Oh, possible.
Yeah, like a clicking would be him cleaning his pipe.
Oh.
The
He's hitting
clicking,
it in the
though,
ashtray.
Yeah.
what kind of clicking is it?
He'd have to tap his pipe.
Pipe cleaning.
It sounds more like, God, it's hard. How do you describe a click noise?
Well, okay, so was it metallic? Was it a metallic click? Was it a tap, tap, tap?
Yeah, almost like that. Almost like what Eric just did. That noise. It's almost like a tongue click.
And that would have been what that would have sounded like, because that wasn't plastic.
No, that was a wood. That was a wood pipe usually.
No, it would have been wood against what was the first plastic in the 50s that they had?
I wasn't.
Bakelite?
Yes, Bakelite.
Yeah, Bakelite.
Okay.
Bakelite. They made phones out of those things.
Yeah.
How often did you hear the? How often did you hear the clicking?
Cosmetics.
Here's the interesting thing. This place is full of antiques. I mean, stuff that's hundreds of years old.
Right.
And my parents collected for their entire lives. That came from their parents. That came from their parents. So, you know, people say, "Oh, haunted objects, this and that, whatever." This place is loaded with that stuff.
So how upset are you going to be if I tell you that that kind of clicking can also be not just from ghosts, but can also be from ETs when they verbally talk, talk to each other? They click. They do not verbalize like you and I do. They click. They make clicking sound.
I have heard the clicking that you're talking about, the people who describe the alien talk, sitting right out here in the chair. I'm outside, just like I always am. I'm sitting on the porch, and I've heard it coming from the word click, 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 click.
Joke.
You know, there was one time I even have a video or an audio somewhere in my phone here of something that sounds like a moth beating, like right by your ear.
Oh, ew.
But it was coming from, 50 foot out in the woods.
I'm here to tell you that Sasquatches, as far as I know, they will not do that. They will protect the human from certain groups that do that. I've had that happen. I was with a group of people who were literally sequestered in a bubble of time.
Maybe it was Mothman.
Stopped my movement and injected something into my legs. I had 2 great big puncture marks in my legs when I got home, and I couldn't figure out how.
It reminds me of the alien that was in Signs as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Now, I've never seen the Bigfoot around here. I've seen the footprints. I've had trees busted over. Looked like someone reached up at right about the 9-foot level and just snapped oak tree over. Right. It was bigger than my leg, and it just snapped it. And there was no other snaps around. I've heard movement in the woods, but the particular group of them around here, if you want to call it that, I don't think they live here all the time.
No, it'd be a family.
They moved through the area.
More than likely a family.
I think they moved through the area. You can hear them coming.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least 5 or 6 of them, and they sound like owls, but they sound like 800-pound owls. I mean, when they hoot, you can feel it in your chest. And you can hear them, and they're spread out, and they move through the area. You can hear them come up the hill, over the hill, and back over the far side. So I don't think they're around.
So that's with that, you have some family units of Bigfoot. You have some that you call a tribe or a clan. And I do think some of them migrate. So you might be within the migration path when they go to the higher hills.
Exactly. That's what I've always been thinking.
Not all.
I'm just saying, like, there's also something else that makes a clicking sound when it talks. And if it's that, you better grab your fucking pointy stick. Because
Well,
some of the African cannibal tribes.
Oh yeah.
If they're moving in, Joe, you got
No.
things to worry about.
How
don't
fucking
dog.
weird
you mean
would
like
it
the
be?
little guy that found the Coke
Okay.
bottle?
No, that's what I'm saying. Okay, if any of us had an awkward African tribe living in our backyard, it would have to be Joe. Okay.
Hey, but just make sure your bunker's locked up and you'll be okay.
Oh God.
Like I said, I could probably go on all night with just weird stuff that's happened here over the years. And one thing, you said, well, it might be aliens. Well, okay. If we have time, I can tell a little story here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think most of you know I've got game cameras out around my property. I have security cameras on the house and game cameras out on the property in different places. One morning I woke up. Like, okay, I woke up, throw my legs out, and I look, and I have these 3 huge scratches from my ankle all the way up to the back of my knee. And these weren't like little welts or something you could barely see. These were like bleeding almost. 3 big scratches. And I was like, oh, damn, what the hell is that? And I said, I wasn't thinking too much about it. Like, that's awful damn weird. Took pictures of them, got dressed, and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go outside and before this happened, I looked over my dresser. I had this weird experiment going on. I've been doing it for 7 years, where I have a stack of coins. They're $1 coins. There's probably 12 of them. There was a guy on Dave Scott's show one time talking about, leave a stack of coins out if the aliens take you or whatever, knock them over.
Right.
Tell yourself that. So if you're taken, you get up and the coins are knocked over for some reason, maybe something happened that night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after I'm looking at these scratches on my leg, I looked up, the coins are knocked over. Now, they've been there for 7 years. They're still there right now. It's the only time they were ever knocked over this whole time. I thought, oh, damn. I started kind of putting 2 and 2 together. It's like, okay, that's just a coincidence. Who knows what happened? I know the dog hadn't gotten in there.
Mm-hmm.
Got up, ate something, and said, you know what? I better go out and check my security cameras. And I went out to check one of my cameras that's closest to the house. It's a game camera. And it looked strange. The lens looked weird. I pulled it out, and it wasn't working. It was completely dead. Sometime in the middle of the night, it took 3 pictures completely black, and then it wouldn't work. It wouldn't come on, everything. And it was a Browning trail camera. It was a good one. I actually sent it back to the factory. They looked at it and said, you know what? We've never come across anything like this. We don't know what happened. There's obviously something wrong with this. But we've never seen whatever happened to this camera is wrong with it. They sent me a brand new one. They said, here's a new one. We don't know what's wrong with this old one. Something weird. So you get the combination of the game camera screwing up, the scratches on my legs, and the coins knocked over. All in one night.
That's great.
It's odd.
Yeah.
It's strange.
That's crazy, Joe.
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys still want to hang out at my place?
Hell yeah! Shit. We'll bring more game cams. And holy water. Oh, wait, that doesn't exactly work.
Water is plate.
So, when I say, so let's switch gears here real quick. So, what
Sure.
to you is an emergency paranormal response? What to you would be a paranormal emergency?
I want to answer the
For
first
me?
part you asked. The first part you asked was, what would you consider a paranormal emergency response?
Okay,
Shitting myself. That's the response.
that's the response. I've never done that.
Don't lie to us. Don't lie to us.
I've never shit myself.
So you just came out of your mother and all of a sudden you could use the toilet, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, Kim Jong-un.
You know, hey, Cole, I built the hospital that I was born in, and that day I drove my mom home.
There you go. You know what? As big as you are, I wouldn't be surprised. You're probably about 5 foot when you were born.
It's possible. I did have a full head of hair when I was born too.
And a beard?
Well, not a beard.
No beard? Okay.
No beard.
You're safe then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your smart.
For me,
your
like,
farts smell
are
like
you-
blueberries.
On your question about the emergency response, is like, what would cause you to call in an emergency response team?
Yep.
Is that what the question is?
That's why I want. That's why I want your opinion. What do you see as a paranormal emergency?
I would see an emergency as anything that is going to cause harm to people, or
Okay.
people are getting hurt, or fires starting in a house inexplicably. Basically, something dangerous.
Okay.
You know, I mean, if it's just weird, if there's a noise in the next room, no. Stuff falling off the walls, no.
Okay. Let me stop you there. What if the noise in the wall is terrifying a child?
Oh well, yeah.
Not causing harm, but terrifying.
Well, it is causing
your kid.
harm, though. It's causing psychological harm.
It is.
Yeah, that's psychological harm, so that's harm, yes.
Okay.
But for me, the sound of little kids running up and down the hallway at night, giggling and laughing, that's one of the most joyous sounds in the world, unless you live alone.
Well, yeah. If the children ain't supposed to be there, especially if they have fucking black eyes, yeah. No.
Okay, whoa.
You know,
Well,
they
they have
say
black eyes
don't
when they
allow
walked in, they're
people in
going
your
to when
house
they
that
walk
has
out.
black
Uh-huh.
eyes. You're not supposed to let those kids in with the black eyes. I don't let anybody in.
You never know.
Eyeballs.
I laugh.
Yeah,
at some
basically
of it.
anything that, like you said, there's only if something presents a danger, or
So
you're
with-
afraid to be somewhere, or whether it's psychological or physical or mental, something like that. Then yeah, you bring in a team, and all
So
the
what-
weird stuff that's ever happened all these years, nothing has ever got me to the point where I was like scared.
Right. So when we
Yeah.
ran our
It just makes
emergency-
me basically it makes me curious.
Well,
What was
you're
that?
you're right on the one aspect. When we ran our emergency response team, we actually added pregnant women. If they were pregnant and called for help, then absolutely they hit the top priority because two
It
reasons.
wasn't me. I got an alibi.
No, but the initial stress of a pregnant woman can
Oh.
very easily cause a miscarriage. And two, there are entities and spirits out there who will try to take the soul of the baby. Again, causing a physical miscarriage. What?
Well, yeah, that absolutely makes sense. I mean, that's a clear and present danger.
Mm-hmm.
To either kids, or pregnant women, or regular women, or dogs, or anything.
But here's the deal. You have to define clear and present danger because when our team
Anything
went
involving
in...
Jack Ryan.
Well, no, but when our team would go in and clear a location
Christ.
and tell them, okay, your Ouija board is actually what did cause it. And let me do a disclaimer to clarify here. Ouija boards by themselves are nothing more than communication
People
devices.
would.
But if you don't use them properly, then they absolutely can leave that door open. And you don't know what the hell going to
Oh,
happen.
yeah.
What?
We're all screwed then.
What?
Boston just built the world's largest Ouija board.
Oh, cool. I'm
No.
okay. I'm okay with that. The Marshmallow Man going to
A
come in.
bunch of Southees are running around freaking calling in everything they can.
Oh, good God.
Like, this is not
Zool.
okay.
That's what's wrong with the world.
Oh my god, it's not like they built it on top of a pyramid.
What?
It's
Well, that's where they're
Boston.
moving it.
They could have.
Yeah, no shit.
Well,
They're
it's
gonna
Boston.
take it to CERN.
Shut up.
Can you imagine a Ouija board in CERN? Yeah, no.
They already have their own magic. They
Uh-huh.
don't need that.
Over regarding children, I've had a child who was trying to think of how old she was. She was about I at the time sound asleep in her bed, and I'm in my living room in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
She came to me in astral, screaming to me. And I'm like, what is wrong. When you have a child in astral form who grabs you in the physical world so hard and so tight that she leaves bruises on your physical body, you know you got a serious situation.
Mm-hmm.
So when something like that, and I use that only as an example because I went and I dealt with it, and I had a lot of help from family who was deceased, and we went in and I took care of the situation and entity and the being, we'll call it being, and yeah, there are beings that like to deliberately terrorize children while they sleep.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
And
they feed off the fear.
Hey,
That's
okay,
part of
dude.
it. They feed off the emotion.
I'm gonna ask a really weird question because it
Okay.
just like totally popped into my head. But out of this panel, if something paranormal was gonna be your cause of death, what would it be?
Oh, definitely.
Wait, what
You
would
know
you
that-
want it to be, or what do you think it would
What
be?
do you think
It would
be?
absolutely, for me, be aliens.
Aliens?
Christine, I nearly die in a friend's arms because of a paranormal situation. Because I am literally pulled. I'm standing talking to somebody, actually a couple of somebodies, and I'm literally pulled out of my body. It becomes a very, and it becomes a very traumatic situation in which an entire team has to come and get me. And I nearly die.
You weren't
yeah.
grounded.
Well, it didn't matter. I was fully capable and was very well taken care of. I was surrounded by different people that were capable of doing things. But the fact of the matter is that when you have seen your near death, you're like, well, let's see what the heck is going to happen, and who I need to make sure that I am got people that I trust.
Ooh.
So yeah, there are certain things that you want to do in your life where
We'll actually get to that. But I like Robert's answer with portaling to the point where you can't come back.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an astral traveler. Usually you can find your way back to your body, not a problem, depending on your level of expertise, for lack of a
Did you
better
say asshole traveler?
Astral,
Oh,
dumbass.
astral.
Uh-huh.
That's nice. As soon as Harvey joins, you say dumbass. Way to go.
Yep.
Hey, I'm pretty
What a
sure
warm
the
welcome.
fairies would get you.
Fred, okay, so the fairies would kill me, but I want the banshees to do it because apparently they never fucking show up, Kayla.
Wow.
You just don't ever poke a banshee, or they just sit there and scream in your face.
No, they don't.
Hey,
It's all friends
oh,
cutting
they
off
sure
his
the hell
freaking
do.
fingers.
Seriously, you go to any woman and poke her, she's gonna scream in your face.
Who was it? That was
Not always.
So, one of the new Oscar nominee movies,
Then you're doing it wrong, Joe.
Kayla had me all excited because she said there's this movie that just came out. It sounds really cool. It's got banshees in it, and it's
Oh
called
God, yeah,
the
that's right.
Banshees of Estonborough. There's not one freaking banshee in this whole movie.
No, but there's dead animals and finger throwing.
That's not banshees. God damn it.
Finger throwing.
Uh-huh.
So the guy doesn't want to talk to his best friend. The best friend won't quit talking to him, so he tells him, if you talk to me one more fucking time, I'm going to cut off my finger and throw it at you.
Whoa.
So he does. Because the kid guy won't stop.
Oh my God.
And then he says, if you talk to me again, I'm going to cut off the rest of them.
So he
And
talks to him, and then he threw all his fingers at him. It was fucking weird.
Did
Oh,
he
I
grow-
have that movie recorded. I haven't watched it yet.
But did he?
Fred, it is so messed up.
Did he throw it?
Spoiler
Did he grow him
alert.
back?
What?
Did he grow him back?
What? He would have caught him?
If you were Joe, if you were going to
Oh,
watch
he
it for the
grows it back.
Banshees, don't bother. Because they're not in it.
Yeah.
Oh God! It depends on.
You know,
what you
people give
consider
banshees a
bad.
bad name, and
Banshees
you
are
know,
awesome.
actually, they're just people that are trying to let you know something's going to happen.
Oh, they're not people, but it's just
Well,
like
you know what I mean. Yeah, okay,
but
hey,
it's just
people.
like
Blah, 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 blah.
it's just like the
No.
Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper. Everyone
The
says,
Grim
"Oh,
Reaper,
Grim Reaper
he
is
doesn't kill
awesome."
people.
No, he just comes and escorts them to the other side.
He's
That's
just
what he
reading
does.
He's really not. He's like an Uber driver for the afterlife.
Yeah, no shit. And you can bypass the river Styx. You don't need a quarter to get to the ferryman. You know, I mean, yeah, he just takes you straight there.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Nothing.
What?
You caught that, did you?
Shut up, or we'll throw a finger at you, Caleb.
Yeah, I gotta cut off my damn finger and throw it at you.
Please do. I want to see this. Okay.
Oh God, no.
Can I cut someone else's finger off and throw it at you?
Yeah. I'll cut off Colt's finger and throw it at
Hey, whoa!
Whoa. Okay, Joe, but only if you catch one of those 800-pound owls.
I don't know if I want to catch them. And, you know, and when they do come by, you know, I know
you.
they're out there.
No, you know what? Well, just
I always
wait.
and just I'm one of those that think the Bigfoot are more of the, you know, flesh and blood type rather than all the woo. But I don't know.
Joe,
So I always throw out the idea like, okay, you guys can walk on through. I'm not going to hurt you. You don't screw with me. I'm not going to screw with you. And everything's been pretty copacetic.
I can understand you not wanting to catch one. What we're saying is we'd like you to do it, and we'd like you to set up a camera when you try.
No, I was saying I'd like him to cut off one of their fingers and throw them at me.
I'll put a Bigfoot finger at you.
Right? I want to send that shit into 23andMe.
Actually, there is
Give the
something.
$10 million reward.
So Bigfoot made the news this week.
Really?
Yes.
Bigfoot made the news?
Oh man, I missed it.
A guy in
Superstar.
Western Australia is offering $1 billion for the head of Bigfoot.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of decapitated
Hey,
outbacks.
Robert, that's your neck of the woods. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah,
guy?
that's Robert.
Yeah. And it hit the Calgary Sun. Dad read it in there.
What?
And,
So I suppose he would accept a Yahweh.
oh.
Do you know how pissed he
He's
would
in
be?
Australia, right?
Yeah.
Like, seriously. If I chopped off, like, a Yeti head and brought it to him and he was like, nope, not a Bigfoot, sorry.
Right?
Like,
No,
I'd be
that's
so
a
pissed.
gorilla. Yeah, okay, Robert
That's a
hasn't heard about it
Neanderthal,
until just
sorry.
now.
Right?
I just read Robert's last
Technically, it's
message.
a concave.
You're like, that's your
You know,
neighbor.
before you go cutting heads off, you better make sure this guy has $1 billion on, you know, in his account.
Seriously, because
Some
I
kind of
can see
escrow
some
account.
Right?
dumbass out there cutting off, like, Aborigine heads and being like, is this one?
Right.
Like, fuck, dude.
No.
And then he gets back in his.
I remember
10-foot
the first
truck
time
and
I
goes
cut
home.
off a head.
Okay,
Oh, God.
Robert, I need context. Why are you trying to, like, tongue kiss death? I'm so confused right now. I missed some.
Hey, man.
It would
We
be
need to get Robert on here one of these nights.
Like, the Grim Reaper now has an OnlyFans, or what?
Probably. Everybody else does. Shit.
Yeah.
I see him being more of a feet finder. type
Feet
guy.
finder.
feet
It's all
fetishes?
bony and just...
And that's why this show is rated 21 and over. Anyway, 18 and over. I was going to go 21 and over. Let's see here. No, I'm trying to think the direction here. So, in 2012, we set up...
the world didn't end.
Well, supposedly.
Yeah.
Supposedly. It didn't end. But we were ready either way if it did. We set up the Astral team within FMP as an emergency response team. And we had, in my opinion, one of the best in the astral field, and that was Tony, who has been astraling since he was, 4. And so we were talking, and I asked him, so if you're astraling, can you actually go, obviously you can go to any point in the planet and beyond, but
Oh, yeah.
can you clear a spirit? And he said, I don't know, I haven't tried. I'm like, well, here, I've got a case for you. And I can't remember where that one was, because we've been all over the world. Say Brazil. And so all he needed was an address, so he could look at it, look at location, and he could be there within seconds. Pretty much spontaneously. And I mean, Cole was witness to one of our cases. I can't astral. I'm stuck here. And I'm just stuck here. I don't astral. So we created the astral team, which had between 5 and 7 members, I guess, but there was about a 2-year turnaround because we were handling between 5 and 10 cases a day. And that's not an exaggeration. I think Nikki could probably tell you, too, how often these kind of cases happen.
Yep. Very.
So, the thing is, I would have to say about 60% of the cases we handled did turn out to be a psychiatric issue. But psychiatric issues can actually bring in paranormal events. Or,
Correct.
Right.
or vice versa. They feed off each other. So we
So your
did
nuts
actually,
and your place is haunted because of it.
it can be. You know what? I cannot tell you how many times I would have a client calling in tears because they had 3 different paranormal teams come in. One of them actually ran out of her house screaming because, oh my God, there actually is something paranormal. And, well, Ghost Adventures didn't tell us about that part of it. But, my favorite phrase out of all of them is, "You're not going to believe me. I feel like I'm crazy." Yeah, you're not. Just let me tell you now, you're not. But,
Or you
yeah, generally, I think the fastest case we had from beginning to end was literally about 20 minutes.
That
I
is
think
short.
Well, usually because,
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
Which one? Canada?
No, it would have been one in Africa. Wherein a lady in Africa called, and I'm trying to remember who it was. I actually think it was Sarah that identified what it was just
Okay.
from what she said, and said, "Just turn off the air conditioning." And she did. And, oh wait!
Yeah.
You're in
Okay.
Africa. Turning off the air conditioner is not an option.
Yeah, but that's what was making the noise.
So you got to come up with another solution.
Joe, that's the thing. So, boots on ground cases, we've probably done between 50 and 100 around the state. Astral, you know what? I couldn't even give you an accurate number. Because we literally did, on the average, between 5 and 10 a day. And you had your you did have your slow time where you might do 1 or 2 cases. But on average, it was about 5 to 10 cases a day. Because, you've got so much weird, which is cultural. So, like, other cases, you go to Africa, it actually was a demon.
Yeah, I think this one was actually a pipe in the air conditioner
Right.
had melted or it had deformed,
Okay.
and it caused a whistling moan throughout the house.
Okay. I actually don't remember that one. But, so I ran command and control on every case.
You know what?
I don't remember all of them.
I got to admit,
Huh.
when I came into FMP, the first 2 cases were so fucked up I was done. I'm serious. I'm serious. I came in and shit hit the fucking fan, and all of a sudden I was being chased by fucking. It was really bad. It was
You guys
really
weren't-
bad.
You guys weren't shielded at that point in time, too, if I remember right.
Our
Fuck.
first case that we were actually around for
Uh-huh.
was the one where the house got hit. Your house.
Warehouse got hit.
Yours.
And everybody
Oh,
else's.
shit. Yeah. Oh, we're not going to
fuck-
go into that one.
Yeah.
No,
but that
we're
was our
not.
first one.
But
Yeah.
that's why I said
That sounds like the question I had for this is, you doing all these astral things, projecting out to other places. How many of those things followed you back to where you were?
Okay. You know that, and that's an awesome.
Perfect segue.
That's an awesome fucking question, Joe. So within the Astral team, we had safety protocols in place. Every time they were given a case, they are actually trained in our. We had our own Astral school. Let's see. I think the basic Astral was 2 to 3 weeks every day, and if they passed that one, we did a personality critique to see if they were actually going to fit into a team environment. And if they passed that part, it was kind of a vote between our core members of the Astral part. And then they never went on a case by themselves. They always went as a team. The only one I had faith enough to sit on his own was Tony. Because he had been doing this for fucking, 20 years, 30 years at that point. So, once they got a case, our house is sanctuary to where we have, and I'm not going to go into the process, it's a very time-consuming process, but it was shielded.
To the nines.
Yeah. I know the eclipse came into one part of our shielding at one point.
Yeah,
The energy from the eclipse. So the team would actually touch down on our roof, go to the location, handle it, come back, touch down on our roof, and then go home. That way, anything that was going to follow them would actually come to our house, and it wasn't getting in. And nothing ever did get in. The shields did get breached at one point, but that was actually by a human. That was attacking us.
Yeah, my bad.
And I'm not going to go into details on that. That got handled quick. But it was weird because I do remember one alien case where I actually saw alien craft that were looking for our house because of a certain situation or case that we were involved in. And that was eerie because I'm standing in my yard watching 3 different light sources maneuvering. And I was told by one of our astral that one of the beings was actually on the other side of the creek, but could not see past our shield. Yeah, interesting shit. But that was our safety protocol. And I'll tell you right now, the only case that we actually did get fucked up with turned out to be a my lab.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I saying after like the second case, I was like, "Fuck this, I'm out." You guys have fun.
That was about a year towards the end of our run.
Yeah.
Because we had a great run from 2012 to 2019 is when we actually disbanded the team.
So her first one was the My Lab. Her second one was Crazy Lady. And I say crazy in the nicest way. Because, like, she got helped every time, but she kept bringing the shit into her home. She'd invite it in and then called these guys to come and help her take it out.
She was just lonely.
But understand, and again, I know Nikki can confirm this, when you've done this kind of work for, I'd say, over a year, you do make enemies really quick.
Yeah, well, I made enemies extremely quick.
Because, I mean, we have the same entities on other cases where they go, oh, fuck, not you guys again. And, yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Go away. And again, that was rare because, I mean, there's 11 billion different entity types and 11 billion different entities. So, yeah. But, and we had a FMP actually started in 2006, but we didn't do Astral until 2012 to 2019. And that was the crux of our run. And we set the standard, I think, when it came to emergency response for paranormal. So we had intensive training, not just on the astral side, but the physical team that was here locally. We did UFO history and alien abduction signs and symptoms and how to treat them. And again, you can never really fully treat them. I think we've only stopped one abduction entirely, and that was another interesting case. Without going into specifics, it really comes down to vibration. You raise the vibration of the environment.
Yeah.
Some alien races can't actually penetrate.
Exactly.
No, not literally.
Well, no, literally.
Well, literally too.
But I'm just saying.
No succubuses or incubuses either.
The only reason you only stopped one is because you guys weren't willing to do what it took to actually stop it completely.
Huh? What are you talking about?
If you kill the abductee, they don't take them anymore. I'm just saying.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa.
So,
Whoa.
this guy, this client, he was getting abducted, I think, every day. Damn near every day. And so the team went in, again, astrally. They found a whole lot of what you would call parasitic energy worms.
Mm.
And so they cleared them out. Then we had an aftercare. For some reason they didn't like the term aftercare, so it was goddamn, what did we call it?
No, it was aftercare.
Aftercare.
Okay. Yeah, we had an aftercare team where actually we went. We had an education team that went over grounding, shielding, how to raise your vibrations, how to prevent a future attack or a future paranormal event. If they needed, hematite or bloodstone or crystals or whatever kind of protective stuff they wanted or needed, we would get to them.
I have a question for you, Eric.
Yeah.
Did your team ever deal with a full-fledged necromancer?
Oh.
I'm trying to think. Because if any of them did, it would have been Tony.
Egypt.
Egypt?
Wasn't that a case?
Oh.
It might have been, yeah.
I wasn't involved with that one at all. That was Tony only with...
Oh, yeah.
No. But a few other people that...
We went to Egypt 2 or 3 times, though, so I don't remember. I do think
In
so.
Astral?
Oh, absolutely.
The last one, she never went, but the one he consulted with was Izzy.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why I think that's what it was.
And so my mate, Izzy, if Tony wasn't comfortable going by himself, he did take Izzy. And between the two of them, they can combat damn near anything they needed to combat.
Not Slimer. No one can take
Not Slimer? I think in the entire 7 years that we ran Astral, we only really encountered 2 full demons. Which is why, I argue with people, true demonic attacks are actually rare. If it's a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're looking at 5 to 10 cases a day for a year, just 1 year on average, you might see 1 demon on a lower level. They're just parasites.
They're called wannabes.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't even call them wannabes because they do have a higher echelon. You know that.
Yeah, they do.
And they're really just energy parasites. I guess I would call them psychic vampires, but they're not human. In a sense.
Very much not human.
And no, hell no. And honestly, demons don't kill people. Demons manipulate and make the people kill themselves.
Right.
Through depression.
Or
whatever.
yeah, I was just going to...
Yeah, through depression.
Yeah, or they...
Go ahead.
Or they force the physical body to where the physical body can no longer handle the stress, anxiety, pressure of what is happening to the physical body.
Right.
Makes it really a nightmare for the soul that's living it.
So I get asked a lot, well, you don't astral, so how do you know about astral? Or how do you even know if there's a case and how it got, if it actually got cleared? Well, here's my answer to that. I'm with the team the entire time until everyone's home through their chat. And no, I'm not astral. But here's my answer. My answer comes from the client. When the client's happy, the case is closed.
Right.
Now, when you have a child who is 5 years old, has lived in the same house for a year, and all of a sudden talks about a shadow in his room, not the Canada case.
Oh, that was the child's own fault.
We'll talk about the Canada case because I know you were excited because you actually saw that one in action.
Kid screwed up.
But when you have a child that's 5 and is so terrified of their room, they refuse to even go in the room to get a toy, let alone sleep in their room. And then once the team goes in and clears it, all of a sudden that child has no problem walking into the room and playing. That to me means that to me is a resolved case. When you have a client who's been staying in a hotel for 3 nights because they're too terrified of their home, and our team goes and clears it, and all of a sudden they go home and everything's just fine, that to me is a cleared case. And we did a 2-week follow-up. If they had any issues within that 2 weeks, then they contact us. But we did contact them after a 2-week period and do a checkup. And then it was closed. But not closed, because if they ever had any issues in the future, they always contacted us anyway. I think the ones that drove me the most nuts are the ones that were told what not to do. And then a month or 2 later, they contact us going, "Oh my God, it's back!"
Not a month. That one lady was every week.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, there's that one in there.
That was it was a little much. Just
we pulled out our Ouija board and it's back.
Yeah.
Oh, no, like she was buying Dybbuk boxes offline. She was
that's right.
She was doing anything she could. Because but you got to admit,
antique stores are bringing in, and I tell people, be careful what you buy in antique stores because you don't know what the hell's coming home with you.
Yeah.
No dolls.
Yeah, but
well, that's what I was talking about earlier.
The antiques in your home are actually a draw, and actually,
this house, the garage, the barn are absolutely full of antiques.
Right.
Yeah.
From there's a mirror over in the barn that was behind the wall of a bar in New York in the 1910s.
I hate mirrors.
Wow.
And it's beautiful.
Right.
It was my grandfather's bar way back, but you just look at that thing and it's like, I don't know. Everyone's always talking about mirrors. I don't know. It's kind of neat, but what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot of old stuff around here.
Yeah, and I would,
like me.
I would clear them out.
Uh-huh.
Well, no, you know what? At the same time, though, if you don't have any problems, Joe, then I'd say they're fine, honestly.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't know if it's just my personality or whatever, but I think I'm able to keep everything at bay.
Right.
I don't think it's just.
Well,
I don't think it's just. I'm lucky. I think it's. I don't know what to describe it as, but I mean, I can look around right now from where I'm sitting. I can see all kinds of really old stuff.
Have you tried showering?
And like I said, a lot of things have. What?
Have you tried showering?
With salt. With salt.
I showered on the 1st of January. I do it every year. Come on now.
Oh, good God. Hey, Rick, you had a question?
You know you're not supposed to do that, right? That's like really bad luck.
All right,
Yes,
what's the
I did. Okay. Question is,
You're washing all your luck down the drain, they say.
Okay, my question is, now with your group, did you guys, get paid to do? Would the clients or the people with the problems, would they pay you, or
Oh,
was
hell
this
no.
just a?
No.
Okay,
So here's my thing with
you guys were Ghostbusters then.
here's my thing with teams though. Most of your teams out there don't charge.
Okay.
But I think what irritates me about some of those teams is they'll say donations aren't asked, but they're always welcome. Well, now you're insinuating that you really would like a donation.
Right.
Yeah, like the one case I went on, the lady absolutely refused not to give us money.
No, we got 200.
She got mad.
She gave us $200.
And she said, you guys spent gas money, you brought 3 vehicles out here to bring your whole team.
Right.
And gas costs money, so...
I know folks like
as
that.
far as the teams that ask for money, it's kind of the analogy for me is the fire department shows up at your house, it's on fire, and the fireman's saying, well, give us $200. We'll put it out.
Yeah, no shit.
It's like, man, you just put it out.
It's an emergency response team. So, do you see CERT getting paid, for example, the community emergency response teams for disasters? You see Red Cross get, well, actually Red Cross kind of don't get paid.
Well, they
but,
do.
I mean...
But it's a lot based on volunteers, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in volunteer fire departments, yes, in smaller towns, but in bigger cities, you actually paid firefighters. Same thing with police response. So somebody's paying them.
They're not going to say, like, we're not going to do it if you don't give us money, though.
Right.
Of course.
They're not, honestly, even the paid firefighters, I'm never going to ever agree that they're getting enough money for what they do.
No. Grassberg gets paid now.
No.
That goes for all of our emergency services and military people. They are not getting paid enough like they do.
Yeah.
So, okay, I know you're biting at the bit. Let's talk about Canada. That's the first case. That's the first case I actually pulled you into the chat to watch.
Yeah.
And you were skeptical because you didn't fully believe in astral. You're one of those.
I still am. Like I still am skeptical, but like
right.
The way I put it to you was I am an optimistic skeptic.
Mm-hmm.
And I am willing to take a look at everything you have.
Well, you have to have one on a team.
But I need to see I need to see something for that one particular case. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean the next time I'm going to believe it because I saw the thing the last time.
Right.
Because nothing is ever the same.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be.
No.
So
the thing is, having an astral team running emergency response made me change my views on a lot of shit.
But like, I want to talk about the one we did here after that. So
in Lyman,
to explain part of that skepticism.
So we had a case in Canada. I can't remember the specifics. It did involve a child. There was activity in the home, and as Tony's going through the home, he's actually describing this kid's room.
Yeah, and he was able to describe the dresser, which was a specialized dresser. It wasn't your normal, like, IKEA. And the poster on the wall, and other aspects of the room that you wouldn't be able to get off anywhere. Like, there's no Google photos, nothing like that. The astral team was not given people's names other than first names.
No, they go in blind.
So they couldn't search them through Facebook or anything like that. But this one, in particular, I did see what the astral was able to do. I did believe they were dealing with a true entity, and I believe it was the kid's goddamn fault.
That's the one that tried to fuck with Tony.
Yeah,
no,
that's the one that Brent handled that one.
Okay,
we sent Brent in, and the kids were digging in their backyard.
That's right.
And they actually found an Indian
Artifact.
Catch. Like,
okay.
They found a guy's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually like originally a sack of arrows and tobacco and other tools. And they started playing with them. He was a little upset.
That's right.
But he didn't do any physical harm. He would stare at them through their window. And he would look at them like, get off my lawn type look.
Get off my land. Yeah.
And it had scared the two children. The dogs refused to go in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had the lady. We asked. We had Brent ask the spirit what he wanted, and he asked that the stuff be returned.
Mm-hmm.
If they did that, he was fine, and he's, as far as I know, he's still there.
Oh yeah, he's not going to go away.
And now he protects the family.
Yeah.
So.
And I think you told them also to give an offering of tobacco.
Yes.
Which they did.
Because the stuff that was with him originally probably was pretty
stale. Fuck yeah.
So.
That's the other thing I was going to tell Joe. You just reminded me. When I first saw the video, I was thinking Native American. And when you guys were just talking tobacco, it popped it back into my head.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that probably wouldn't have
So.
been
Okay, well, how's this?
No.
I'm here all the time. I smoke. I'm a smoker. I smoke outside, so I'm always flicking the ashes and the tobacco around. I was gone for 2 weeks. They weren't getting their tobacco fix, so they decided to cover up one of my lights. How's that?
And they called you an asshole.
Okay, Joe. Let's go full force with this, and actually, like, it is a full paranormal event.
Right.
I would say it's more likely if it was a Native American, something came onto the property that wasn't supposed to be there, and he stopped it.
Oh,
That's a good point.
I've had a lot of weird stuff happen around here.
That's where I'm going with that. Like, if you've had stuff before, you probably have protection
Hatman's
around
been seen
your
here
hut.
twice.
But does anything stick around?
It doesn't sound.
Well, the way I look at it is, like you talk about the elementals and the fae and everything. I think they all know I'm not here to destroy their land.
No, absolutely.
I'm kind of.
They would know.
I'm kind of in. I kind of got a thing going with all the animals, the deer, the bears, the mountain lions, all the stuff that hangs out here, and maybe they recognize that I'm not a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe some of the good guys take care of some of the bad guys. They have their own little war going on. They're saying, leave this guy alone. Maybe that's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you do good deeds for certain fae or certain beings in this life or in different lives, they feel like they, have a liking to you where they want to protect you,
Yep.
That's what I've learned. Hardcore. Hardcore. They're very protective if they like you.
Yeah.
Then again, there's the Hatman guy. Now, what's the deal with the Hatman guy?
Yeah, okay.
He's just a shadow person
Okay,
who has a fashion sense.
I can tell you the story. I was sitting out here where I'm at right now, basically, and my girlfriend was here and heard something over behind the barn. I think some of you have seen the area. You know where it is. The barn's about 80 foot from the house. Heard something make a noise behind the barn. I said, I'm going to go check that out. It's at night. She stayed here watching me, and I walked. There's a big floodlight on the front of the barn, so it's all lit up. And my Bronco is parked right in front of it. I walked over, I walked around behind the side of the house, and I heard her yell my name. I was like, what the hell? I didn't say anything back, so I came back and said, what's wrong? She goes, as soon as I walked around the corner of the barn and I got out of the light, She said she saw, and she described, she's not into any of this stuff. She doesn't know what a hat man is. She said, I saw a big shadow go all the way across the front of the barn. It looked like someone was about 8 foot tall. There was like a large brimmed hat, and it was a guy wearing a cloak, and he went all the way across the front of the barn and disappeared around the same corner that I did.
Wow.
And I was like, well, damn, that's interesting. And then maybe about a month later, I saw the same thing. So I saw it in, it's a full-size Bronco, and the shoulders were above the roof of the truck when it went by the front of the barn.
Do you remember
There's
what
nothing
month?
to make a shadow.
Do you remember what month it was?
Oh God, no! I couldn't even remember what year it was.
So there's two different theories with Hat Man. Of course, there's I like Kayla's answer. They're just highly fashionable spirits.
Who doesn't like a big brimmed hat?
Right? And that, honestly, that could be, because Hat Man cases I don't think are that common. You do hear about them, obviously. But it could just be...
For me, the most interesting thing was she was not into any of this stuff, didn't read it, didn't know anything about it, doesn't know a ghost from a rock, And she described Hat Man to the T. Coming across the front of the barn and follow me around the corner.
Now, Hat Man kind of reminds me of the depictions of Slender Man, too. Kind of. The other story, so if you look up Dante Centauri on YouTube, his story with Hat Man is it's actually an alien race called the Rogue, which I've always found fascinating.
Right.
And they only kill, and yes, they kill humans. They're not a friendly race. Between January and March of every year. And then they disappear. And one of their high active places is California. Because
it could have been around that time of year.
Because, the theory is...
I remember it was cold out.
Right.
I do remember it was cold.
The thing is, if you're still alive, you're lucky. Because they are a very violent and a very aggressive race, and they wear a hat, and they're also seen wearing a cloak at times, because that's actually a technological device that keeps them cloaked.
Oh.
What's interesting, that's the way she described it, with the big wide-brimmed hat, it was flat, but she said it had shoulders, but then it just looked like it was wearing a cape, is the way she described it.
Okay, Kayla just put a good question in the chat. What if Hat Man is a man in black that got stuck in astral? But I want to go farther than that. What if he died in astral? And he's still doing his job.
What is the what?
What if Hat Man is just a man in black that got stuck in astral? Or died in astral? And he's still doing his job?
Right.
Do we know that men in black travel in astral on a regular basis?
Well, I know from the 70s Johnny Cash did a few times.
It is a possibility, and I get that's another question that to jog my memory that we get asked a lot. Can you actually get hurt in astral? Or can you actually can your physical body get hurt if you get hurt in astral? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Now, oftentimes, if you got struck in your astral form, you would wake up, depending on where you got struck, in the arm or the stomach. You might wake up with a stomach cramp or an arm cramp. You might wake up with a bruise. Or not wake up, but come back in physical form with a bruise. And yes, you could die in astral. And your physical body will die. It's rare.
Yeah.
But it can happen.
So, I'm a weirdo, and I always go back to stories and fairy tales when I'm looking at this kind of stuff. And the shadow people, in general, really... Every time somebody talks about a shadow person, all it makes me think of is Peter Pan. Okay?
Oh. Yeah.
Every single time, I just think of Peter Pan and the fact that his shadow moves without him.
Right?
So, what I'm wondering is if there are certain races of beings out there that can send their shadow out to observe something.
From Never Neverland.
You got me curious on that. I'm going to be finding that out. I'm going to be talking to people about that.
Right? Just like, can they disconnect from it and be like, here, you go check this out. And then come back and tell me about it. You know?
And this is honestly a really short show when it comes to this topic, because we could talk about this topic for hours. But I'm going to bring up 2 points. Because another question we get asked is, well, what is astral? How do you astral? And I'm going to go into that specifically, and I want to bring up remote viewing, because we get asked about, well, can you
differences
do
between astral and remote viewing?
Yeah.
And
We have half an hour, dude.
I know.
How about we talk about that last case quick, and we do a show on astral, on actual
next
astral
week.
itself.
We'll bring Tony in.
Because to talk about astral in half an hour, that's not going to happen.
Oh, no, I was going to do a real quick definition.
Okay.
Whereas remote viewing, the government used it in the 60s to actually spy on Russia and in Vietnam. And remote viewing, no, I'm not doing a dummy's guide to how to astral, Robert. No, hell no, I'm not taking that liability. Anyway, remote viewing is actually where the government had, it was a 2-person job, where you had one person that did the remote viewing, and that's basically where they were able to move their mind either through, I would say, meditation of some form, to specific grid coordinates, and they had a trainer, or what do they call those people? It wasn't a trainer, it was
Handler?
a controller. They had a controller. And
Handler. Handler.
Handler.
Now the controller.
Handler.
Handler? Okay, handler, controller. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
But they were able to project to, say, Russia, and all they could do was observe. They couldn't interact. They couldn't actually do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas astral, you actually leave your body and are able to go through the astral and fight. You can go to locations. You are seen by dogs and cats. We've proven that, because we've had clients that went, I'm kind of freaking out here, because and usually when we had a case, we had the client in one chat that I was talking to, and we had the team in the other chat. And so the client could say, oh my God, my dog is just walking down the hall. And Tony would say, that's just me. Like, okay, that's just our team. The dog sees our team. The dog senses our team and is following them around. Anyway, case in Lyman. We actually had 2 cases in one location that day.
Does somebody have a duck?
And
No, it's somebody.
Huh?
Feedback from somebody's phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It sounded like a duck. I was like, who has a duck?
Calm the fuck down. You're not getting a duck.
No. I saw some ducks. So I was gonna go out in the field and grab the wild ducks and bring them home.
We thought we had 2 cases. We had 3. We just never got to do the last one.
What was the last one?
The trees.
Oh shit! Yeah, we didn't clear that well. That was
Yeah.
We shielded the property and we left the the whatever the hell that is. I still don't know what the hell that was.
I still have my belief.
Do you?
Yeah.
Let's go into that. So the first case we did, it had been several years since we had gone to her house. And again, like I did before, I took my sword. We went to the 4 corners of the property. We warded it. We cleared it. All was good. And then her neighbor found out we were there, and her neighbor said, we're having an awful energy thing that's moving around in our house. So we went down the road to her house, and we cleared their house. And so if you are walking into a home and all of a sudden you get complete and sheer stomach pain, you'll know you have a pretty negative energy there.
Mm-hmm.
I've often wondered about that. If you go to some place and you clear a house, does it just move over to the neighbors?
No, because so depending on what it was, if it was a spirit, we could actually. So here's and I know Cole's going fucking time, but so sometimes it was just a spirit that was stuck, and we would help them cross over. If they didn't want to cross over and they were actually causing issues, because I'm a firm believer you don't have to cross all spirits over. If they're happy, they're not causing problems, leave it alone.
Exactly.
If they're
Pisses
causing
me
problems,
off when people cross over spirits that might not want to go. Who knows? Maybe they died. They went to where they go, and then they fought like hell to get back here because they liked it here, and then some assholes start trying to send them into the light, and they don't want to go.
But that's different.
That would piss them off.
That's also different. The spirits that have actually crossed over and return are a different energy. They're usually they're here for protection, to protect the family, that kind of thing.
Right.
If they're stuck here, they about 80% of the time have no idea they died.
Yeah.
Nikki, what were you saying?
I've had a number of situations, just exactly what both Joe and Eric are talking about, where I've had spirits that have desperately wanted to cross over but have been so terrified to do it, or they have been tortured in some fashion or form and can't get out of what it is that, I mean, they're just horribly terrified.
Well, actually, I'm going to address that. I'm going to address that a lot more anyway, Nikki, because we've had several cases where they were actually stuck by an entity that was basically using them as call it spirit trafficking. I mean, for lack of a better term.
Well, it is, and there are spirits that will actually do it to other spirits too.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I came. So I came across a situation very, very briefly. I came across a situation where an adult spirit trapped a child spirit and kept them there.
Right.
And when I was asked to look at the situation, I took a look at this environment, this home, and the child literally attached himself to my soul cord as I was leaving, and I was like, why do I feel like I'm E.T. pregnant again? And I had to have somebody else check me, and they're like, you've got a boy with you. And I'm like, I know, but I can't. Where the hell is it? And sure as shit, it was this kid who literally saw a way out.
Right.
And he was being terrified. He was scared of this adult spirit who was trapped and was just really vicious with him. And so I crossed him over.
Let's carry on.
He wanted to go.
Paranormal emergencies in the next week as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
We're going to do next week. We're just going to carry on in paranormal emergencies and talk about this, because I mean, there's so much we could talk about, like attachments. We could talk. I mean, there's a whole, and we'll bring Tony in if I can get him next Wednesday. So with Lyman, because I know that's going to carry on the rest of the show. We actually walked the property, and this was the first time Cole actually had an interaction.
Yeah, you lied.
What?
You said it was boots on ground case.
Hey, well, it was.
We had to walk, so my boots constantly left the ground, asshole.
Were you still in the wheelchair then?
No, he was walking.
Oh, okay.
I had my cane.
Remember, these boots are made for walking.
Yeah, that's right.
That's just what I do. I'll kick the spirit in the ass. And anyway, go
Anyway.
ahead.
Friend, so we walked the property and found, I think Brent was up to 5 different spirits.
Right.
But 4 of them were peaceful spirits that weren't doing any harm. They weren't causing any problems with the farm animals. And then the one was a neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Karen of all Karens. Wouldn't even stop bitching when he died.
No, we cleared them out.
Ghost Karen.
But
Jesus Christ.
there's literally something else. So their property actually bordered part of the mountain, which was like state land. It wasn't, and it was within reach to where I believe the Upper Skagit tribe at one point, their reservation land had actually, well, they'd walked that land. But what you noticed was, and if you've ever seen a lightning strike on a tree, the burn marks it creates. But picture almost.
Are we skipping ahead to that part?
Huh?
Are we moving to that part now?
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about the second house?
This
where we
was
actually found him?
Oh, go ahead.
So we went to the secondary house, which had two residents in it who were quite elderly and had quite a bit of trouble walking around. Their house was a 2-story house.
Right.
And
that's where I got hit.
Yeah.
When I went upstairs, I got hit.
Because you would stand at the top of the stairs,
Yep.
and at the bottom of the stairs they had a lemon tree.
That's
in a
right.
pot. And the leaves facing the stairway were dying. That tree thrived until he died, and that's when it started dying.
Yeah.
Friend, Brent cleared that fairly. I'm not going to say fairly quickly. That actually took him a few minutes.
That took a while.
Yeah. And all of us felt the pull to go after it was cleared and everything was good. We had a cigarette outside and talked to the people, told them what aftercare would do with them. And we're all sitting there and we all felt like we should continue walking past their house just a little bit.
Yep.
And there was kind of like a natural cul-de-sac at the end of the drive. And there is a point with a line of trees that we were not... None of us were willing to cross the line.
Mm-mm.
And I couldn't explain why, but I actually heard behind me, stay back.
Wow.
And it wasn't one of the other guys at the thing, because Brent was in front of us trying to cross the line. And so was the other kid.
Oh, Tom.
Tom.
And me and Eric were sitting back discussing the trees because they didn't look normal. Because one side, the side facing us looked actually completely healthy. But when you went and looked at the side of the tree, the other side was completely rotten and dead.
Yep.
And it looked burnt. Friend.
And that's also when you discovered black tourmaline wasn't your stone.
Yeah. Yeah, when we met up for that case, we met at the Lyman Mercantile, and Eric handed me a piece of black tourmaline as soon as I got out of my vehicle, and I walked over to the picnic bench, reached into my pocket, and it was already gone.
Yeah. He discovered his protective stone with tiger's eye.
Yeah. Friend.
Oh yeah.
A good one.
So, but we talked to a few different people, including Izzy. I believe we actually had a talk with our Keith together.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we had Kayla reach out to the Upper Skagit tribe and talk to them.
Yep.
There's apparently some type of creature that runs through that side of the Skagit Valley.
Oh.
Wait, say that to me again.
So there is a creature
What
out
kind
there.
of creature?
It would be a native creature.
Well, the girl that Kayla talked to
Right.
actually got into trouble
A lot of fucking trouble.
for talking to Kayla.
So,
Right.
yeah.
It is my belief that that was my first run-in with a Wendigo.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I got told that 2.5, 3 years ago when I was listening to SOR. Short end of the stick is just about to talk about Wendigo. I mean, they didn't say that, but I had a spirit come right up to me, stand not a foot from my ear, and say, "Wendigos are real, very real." And I went, "What?" I lost my mind when I got told that. I lost my marbles.
Yeah, I first found out about Wendigos when I saw the dog man, because we were going back to my godmother's house, who is a native woman who's kind of a shaman, and she was like, well, that kind of sounds like a Wendigo. And then that's kind of what I thought it was for years until I heard about dog man, and that just seemed like it was much more fitting to what I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
See, and this is why they wouldn't ever let me be anywhere near the boots on the ground team, because I'm kind of a psycho and I want to see it. So I'm that person that would be like, yes, dead tree, and would walk past it just to see what was on the other side.
I didn't know Kayla could fly. Yeah.
Well, it could be because you're meant to heal things subconsciously, and you don't have the same level of fear. That's why you're doing it.
Sure.
And Kayla, I'm a retired photographer. I went to college for photography to do it professionally. And I'm here to tell you, I'm the kind of person that runs towards a fire to get all the shots, to get all the pictures, all the everything.
Right? That's what I'm saying. That's me, like, through and through. I'm like, what, danger?
Well, and that's always funny, because while all these other all these other paranormal teams would run screaming out of a house because, oh my God, ghosts are real, our team was going, oh, really? And running towards it. Firemen, run towards the fire.
Nikki, I'm the other type of photographer, because I started getting into photography. Friend, I don't run for fuck all. I'll start my own goddamn fire.
Right? So Rick, if you ever want to go up Haystack and actually possibly encounter some weird shit, let me know.
Okay,
Dude,
yeah.
we should do a trip. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm in. Yeah.
So, talking about Haystack, I don't go up there by myself. One, the bears, cougars, that kind of shit. No, I don't believe in anyone hiking in the mountains or woods by themselves anyway. You always go with a buddy.
No.
Cougars are down at the bar. Don't worry about that.
See, again, I'm that
sure.
dumbass that would disappear and be on 411. Because
No,
I'm like wandering around everywhere. Like, what's that?
But so I've always taken my kids, and I remember, and my kids have experienced some weird shit up there with me. There's one particular valley where, and there's no helicopters up there, but we heard almost like a. And I've heard this in the Army, but it's almost like when a helicopter's coming down fast and they pull back on the stick, and you can hear the rotors going.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
I know, the stick.
That's not-
Yeah.
Collective.
So Robert says it's not the Wendigo you got to worry about, it's the where'd he go? You got to be concerned. Robert, I got a story for you. So the first time, like when I first joined FMP and started doing this radio show with Eric, they told me about the Wendigo. We were sitting around the fire a few nights later, and we all got a little stoned. And I could not say that word for the life of me.
And where to go?
So I made it Australian. It was a Wendigo.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Wendigo.
And for 2 years, no, 4 years. That's
Wendigo
what
ate
it's,
my baby.
Yeah, that's what it's been called.
It's still a Wendigo.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Anyway, there's one particular valley, and we heard the downdraft of a helicopter rotor, and there weren't no helicopters around.
It was the birds.
The birds
They're
ain't real,
tiny helicopters.
right?
The whippoorwill.
800-pound owl.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
Dude! Okay, I gotta tell you, I totally, spaced this, but I was driving on South South Skagit the other
Uh-huh.
night during that like storm because I'm at that asshole. And I saw those weird ghost lights, man.
Which ones?
It was a pair of headlights right behind me,
The disappearing tail
and
lights?
then they fucking just disappeared.
Yeah, there's ghost cars on South Skagit all the time. It's like the tail lights you see.
He
Where-
saw her driving and frickin' took off down to the river. He's like, I have a better chance down here.
But yeah, they're the tail lights you'll see in front of you, and you'll haul ass, and they just disappear.
No, it was coming up on me and like really, really fast, and it was like super bright, and then it just disappeared. Like there's no turn-offs there. There's nothing.
Right.
I was like, what the fuck? I should go home.
Well, and the UFO that you saw over the river
Yeah.
on South Skagit.
Well, I saw
I wish
lights.
it was ghost lights on the South Skagit. I usually get the asshole that's coming up on me at 100 miles an hour when I'm already doing 65, which is going way too fast on that road
Right.
to begin
Yeah,
with. So,
and then
yeah.
He always has his brights on, and then he turns those stupid red and blue lights on. Like, just leave me alone.
Oh shit! Right.
Christ.
Right?
I'm going as fast as I can. God.
Right?
Oh, I
And
thought
that's
you were
when you have to
talking-
just like take that hard turn into Cumberland, and then he just wings by. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Oh, don't even. That scared the shit out of you.
It did. I was like,
I was not getting a ticket that day. That's when they turned that road into. They put it down to 25 miles an hour because they just.
Yeah,
redid
because
the
they were
road.
working on it because the road was falling into the river.
yes, fucking a cop comes up behind us because we're going like 30,
We're doing 50.
whatever. And he flips on his lights. He flips on his lights, right? Just
Officer,
a
I was
minute.
only doing 30. You were doing 50. Yeah, whatever.
He flips on his lights and Cole just like banks it and goes way up fucking Cumberland and like turns into this little ditch and he's like, watch him find me now. I was like, motherfucker.
When we were teenagers, we lived in a pretty small town, and we knew everyone. So we knew all the cops because we were always in trouble with them. So we, at night, they had quite a boring time. Like they had nothing to do.
Right.
So we would play cat and mouse with them. Friend, I can hide anywhere from a cop. If there's one single tree in a field, I'll hide behind it and he won't catch me. Friend.
Okay. Just to say it though, my first trip to Canada, to Cole's like home country and his home territory, right? We came out of the track really late at night. It was like
Racetrack.
2 a.m. The racetrack. And we were in a car that was not registered to us, that was from the United States. And we were dead tired because we had just driven, 20-something hours to get there. And we totally didn't have fucking seatbelts on. We didn't turn on the lights. Like, nothing. We just, like, pulled out. And this cop pulls us over. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Right? He gets out. He walks over to the driver's side. He knocks on the window. Cole rolls it down. And he goes, do you know that... Oh, hey, what's up, Cole? How's it going? They sat there. When did you get back in town? They laughed about shit, and he goes, oh, hey, by the way, you should probably buckle up and turn on your lights. Have a good one, buddy. Alright. And I'm like,
Good old hometown.
being my first experience in Canada, I've always been told that people are nicer there, and I was like, holy fuck, it's
They
true.
really are.
Yeah, to a point.
They
Friend.
don't even ticket.
Me and my brother got drunk one night at the bar, and he refused to walk home. It was only 8 blocks from the bar to our house. And so the cop was sitting outside the bar at the end of the night, and Kenny kicked the fender of his car and said, take me home. And the cop said, I'll take you, but you ain't going home.
Oh.
And
Oh.
Kenny kicked out the window. And the cop said,
Oh,
okay, now you're going to the cop shop. And friggin' Kenny's like, no, I'm not. I'll replace that tomorrow. But just remember, we work on your guys' brakes because my dad owned one of the best
Oh,
auto
don't
repair
threaten
shops
him.
in the area. And the cop's like, "Did you just threaten me?" And I looked at the cop. I'm like,
Oh my God.
"I don't think he's at the mind capacity where he can threaten you."
Oh, shit.
So we did get away with it, but he still didn't get a ride home either.
Oh, so destruction of policeman's property and hey, go home, sleep it off. Come on,
He doesn't own that car. It's the government's car, not his.
Goddamn Dudley Do-Right. Jesus.
Yeah, that looked like the lights, Joe. That's the lights that Cole saw.
Yeah, those are the aliens I saw.
You were saying that you have polite cops in Canada. I can remember I was down in Southern California as a kid. We left the beach, a bunch of friends in a car. Cop pulled us over. He walks up to the window and he looks in. He looks at all of us and he goes, "Do you guys have any pot?" We all like, "No, officer, no." And he looks at us and he goes, "Want to buy some?" He's like, "No, sir." And he goes, "Okay, you can go." And he left.
Oh my God.
I was thinking it was either some kind of weird entrapment thing or he was the most polite officer I've ever met.
Right.
And my
He was
dad,
going to do us a good one.
my dad and my uncle were out fishing on the Red Deer River, and it runs through Drumheller. Right? And the boat's motor died. So they ended up having to walk back. And they refused to leave the cooler at the boat. So think of two big, huge guys, Joe, like your size, like right your height, and my dad's a little bit bigger on the waist, but
Giants.
Yeah, and they're carrying an igloo cooler between them, with a drink in their hand. Friend, one of the cops pulls up, and Dad looks at him like, "What?" And he's like, "What are you doing, Ron?" And he's like, "Well, we're walking home." And he said, "Why?" "Because you haven't offered us a ride yet." And the cop's like, "Get in, I'll take you home." Right? So they get in with the cooler between them. The cop drives about 1 block, and all he hears is a can opening in the back seat.
Oh my God.
He pulls over. He's like, "Get the fuck out of my car!"
Oh.
You know, I was at my niece's wedding, and it's during the ceremony and in the church and all this stuff, and they're talking up there at the front, and all of a sudden you hear somebody crack open a beer. It was hilarious. It was the father of the groom, by the way. He had a can of beer and he opened it during the ceremony. Everybody heard it.
Was that my brother's wedding?
If you're gonna do that, you gotta cough when you do it. Like, that's the only way to get that to work.
Right.
I was sitting in the back and I was busting up laughing.
Oh. All right, so we have about 7 minutes left. Next week we will carry on this conversation because we have to talk about.
Now when we get back to the actual topic next week.
Yeah. We'll talk about a little deeper astral. We'll talk about some parasites.
Everybody get your best top stories ready.
I've got a few.
We actually do need to talk about attachments and protection and things like that as well.
Friend.
But did you all hear the doomsday clocks moved up?
Yeah, we're at 90 seconds.
Oh, hey, before the end of the show, tell him, Steven Spielberg.
Oh!
He admitted it.
Okay.
Oh, what happened?
So, you guys know how we've often talked about how certain directors are in the know?
Chris Carter, Steven Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
on the podcast Smart List,
Okay.
they interviewed Steven Spielberg last week.
Right.
And they were talking about how the pandemic took away everyone's ability to go watch a movie in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked him, what was the first one that brought you back into that? And he said, I went and saw that movie, Nope. And they told him that they asked him if he knew what that title meant. And he said, no, I'm like, I don't understand what you mean. They said they actually meant it as not of this earth, or not
of planet Earth.
Planet Earth.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he said, I had no idea, but that makes sense, and I honestly should have known that.
Nope.
Since I am not of planet Earth, and I should know my own brethren.
He said it on the show.
Yes.
Huh.
And he kind of laughed it off, and then this conversation continued on.
Right.
But it was just weird.
An awkward moment.
Yes. Because the other three didn't really laugh.
Nobody laughed.
Well, it's like when
They were all like,
said when he was human, and then just like,
Yeah. It was just a weird moment in the show.
yeah, but Spielberg straight up said, well, I should have known that because I'm not of planet Earth and I should know my own brethren. And I was like, what the fuck did I just hear?
Well, and so a little backstory on Steven Spielberg for listeners that haven't heard about his whole viewing with Reagan. Yeah, it was with Reagan. So he showed.
Yeah.
Reagan got a first showing of E.T. at the White House with Spielberg. And Reagan turned around and said, I've got to say, this is the most realistic movie that I've seen pertaining to this topic. Thank you.
I thought it was Close Encounters he saw.
Yes.
Might have been.
It was Close Encounters.
Was it? Okay.
It was not
okay.
E.T., it was Close Encounters.
Okay, Close Encounters, yeah. Close Encounters of a Third Kind. And, yeah. And if you remember, too, Reagan's speech to the UN Security Council, where he blatantly said, if we were to join the Earth together, it would take an outside force to threaten the Earth. I mean, I would have to say, when it came to presidents, other than, I think, Eisenhower and Truman, Reagan would be our closest to a disclosure of any president.
That's because all the other presidents are reptilians. They don't want to talk about it.
No, that was the Queen.
I mean, come on.
That was Queen Elizabeth.
All of the hierarchy. Come on.
What do you mean?
We all know this.
I've heard a story where Nixon apparently took Jackie Gleason to either Area 1 or Wright Air Force Base. I can't remember which one, to show him the alien. So, yeah.
He showed him an alien artifact. It's also, I want to say, Truman that signed the Greada Treaty with an alien race to allow them to abduct humans in exchange for technology. Now, if you notice, it's kind of weird. Is it a quinky dink? Who knows? But all of a sudden, we've got the computer, we've got cell phones, we've got all kinds of fiber optics and technology and shit within the time span after we signed this treaty.
True.
Weird, right?
Yeah, ain't it? I don't really believe in quinky dinks too much, but
isn't that when Velcro came out too? Like, come on.
Oh.
Alrighty then.
Sorry, just saying.
What's up with you? Never mind.
Nope.
Never mind.
Nope.
Foot fetish, Velcro. Yep.
She's starting her own site.
Yeah. But yeah, next week we'll carry on this conversation. We've got a lot more to talk about when it comes to emergency response and different cases we've handled. And pay attention to your kids. And you know, I wrote up a whole article about kids in the paranormal, and that you've got kids that are talking about Aunt Marty, and they've never seen Aunt Marty because she died 20 years ago. You might want to pay attention.
When they're younger. You've met my kids. Nobody wants to pay attention to that.
Wouldn't pay attention to your kids. No, hell no. No.
I don't.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Great show, guys.
It was.
For,
It went quick.
Loved it.
Shit.
Halo almost died. We'll see you next week.
Damn dog. It's a black-eyed dog. I don't think there's such thing, but black-eyed
I forgot I had a puppy for a minute, and it just came up and licked me, and it was scary. Okay.
Well, at least it wasn't a moth, huh?
Most people call them children. We don't have puppies as kids. These aliens, they forget what they're doing here.
Oh my god. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night, everybody.
We'll see you all next week.
Good night.
Good.
Good night.
Data transfer complete. System malfunction. Please evacuate immediately. Program terminated.
Son of a biscuit eater.